Argani. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct with another African story. This time we call it Is It Deep Enough? All about Bruh Rabbit and the frogs. You know, Bruh Rabbit was a real good fisherman. All he had to do was take his fishing pole down to the water, and in about 10 minutes, he would have a heap of fish. He was a good fisherman, and that is when he was actually feeling like fishing, which wasn't too often. But when he was, he could catch them fish. Bruh Rabbit had a good friend. We call him Bruh Raccoon, but for short, we like to just call him Bruh Coon. Bruh Coon fished, but he didn't fish for fish. He fished for frogs. All Bruh Coon had to do was take a tote sack, go down to the high grass on the river, and pick frogs. Every day, he'd fill a tote sack and carry it home. He'd pull it up on the porch, and his wife would come out, and she'd say, "Woo, hi, woo, frogs." She liked frogs, too. Matter of fact, she loved her some frogs, especially them river frogs, because they grow nice and plump and ripe. Now, those frogs were having a little problem with Bruh Coon catching them. He wasn't picky about which frogs he'd catch. Why, he was getting grandmas and grandpas and sisters and brothers and mamas and daddies, and it was awful. So one day, a big old frog jumped up on a log and he said, "We got to do something about this here coon." And the other frogs said, "Yeah, what?" "We got to stop him. He's catching our grandmas. He's catching our grandpas. We got to stop him dead in his tracks." And the other frogs said, yeah. How?" "We need us a lookout frog." "Yeah," they said, "a lookout. We need us a frog with big old ears." You know, you seen them frogs with the big old ears? That's the kind of frog they need. They need one with some big old ears. They could really hear from afar off. "We need a frog with a real big mouth." You seen them frogs with real big mouths? They needed one with a real big mouth that can warn them. "We need a frog with some really big eyes." You seen them frogs with really big bulging eyes? That's the kind of frog they need, so you can see them coming. They said, yeah. Now, the only frog that fit them qualifications was the bullfrog. They set him down on the river, and he'd watch, and he'd look, and he'd listen. And he'd watch, and he'd look, and he'd listen some more. And when Bruh Coon got within a half a mile, you could hear that bullfrog. "Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes." Bruh Coon couldn't swim, so he couldn't catch him. 7 days went by like that. Bruh Coon kept going home with an empty sack. You know that wasn't good for Bruh Coon. One day, he walked in, and his wife cotched him, barang, right square in the middle of the head with a broomstick. "Ooh," said Bruh Coon, "what you do that for, woman?" And she said, "Well, how come you coming in this house without a frog? Not even one frog. You coming in the house with no frogs? Come on now." He said, "I can't catch him." She said, "What you mean you can't catch him?" He said, "They done got too wild to catch." She said, "What you mean too wild to catch? They've been wild and you've been catching them." He said, "But every time I get within half a mile of that river, all you can hear is, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. So when I get down there, they's all in the water and I can't swim." She said, I'm going to starve to death, and you're going to starve to death, and all your little children's going to starve to death if you don't catch them frogs. She said, you see this broomstick right here? He said, yeah, I see it. You know what I'm going to do with it? He said, nah, I don't know. She said, I'm going to put it on your head if you don't go and catch them frogs. He said, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone. And he took that empty tote sack and he went on down the road talking to himself. I can't catch them frogs. I tried. I done tried. And every time I get within half a mile, I hear that, here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. He looked up, coming along from the river, was his best friend in the whole wide world, Brer Rabbit. Brer Rabbit had been fishing that morning, had him a big old line of fish, kind of dragging along behind him. Well, Brer Coon, he said, how you doing? Brer Coon said, I ain't doing too well. Brer Rabbit said, well, I can see that. You look kind of down in the mouth, as a matter of fact. And Brer Coon said, it ain't my mouth I'm down in. Do you see these knots on my head? Yeah, I see them. How'd you get them? Brer Coon said, my wife gave them to me with the broomstick. I can't catch any frogs. I go down to the river. Every time I get within half a mile, all you hear is, here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. And when I get there, they all jump in the water, and you know I can't swim. Brer Rabbit said, you know, Brer Coon, you need a plan to catch them frogs. Brer Coon said, I do? What's the plan? Brer Rabbit said, don't you worry about that. I'm the best planner that ever planned a plan. I'm a planner's man. Just let me sit down here and think you up one. So Brer Rabbit throwed the fish over the limb of a tree, sat back on his hind legs, throwed his ears up in the air. Then he took one ear and one hind leg, scratched the other ear, and then took the other hind leg and scratched it again. And then he said, aha, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got you a plan. Brer Coon said, well, tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. Brer Rabbit said, shh, can't nobody hear it. This here is your plan. Go down to the river. When you get there, fall down dead. Brer Coon said, do what? Shh. Brer Rabbit said, go to the river. When you get there, fall down dead. Brer Coon said, but I don't want to die. Shh. Brer Rabbit said, I don't mean for you to really die. I just want you to pretend like you're dead. Brer Coon said, what do I do after that? Brer Rabbit said, you don't do nothing. You just lay right there till I tell you to move. Brer Coon said, then we catch them frogs? Brer Rabbit said, lay until I tell you to move. Then we'll see. Remember, don't move for nobody or nothing. Don't move till I tell you to move. Brer Coon said, all right. All right. That sounds like a good plan. Don't know what it is, but it's a good one. So down to the river, the Brer Coon went. He got within half a mile when he began to hear it. Here he comes. 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 Brer Coon didn't care. Ha! He had him a plan. They could holler and carry on all they wanted to. He went down to the river. He laid that sack down and he commenced to dying. Oh my. It took him a while to die. The frogs never paid one bit of attention. In a while, the sun come out. And when it shone right down on Brer Coon, and it was hot, Brer Coon wanted to roll on out of that sun, but Brer Rabbit had told him, don't you move. And he didn't move. After a while, the flies came in and sat on his face, crawled all across his eyes, crawled up his nose, crawled in and out of his mouth. He sure enough wanted to move, but he ain't move. The sun went down and the flies flew off. Down through the woods comes Brer Rabbit. He walked over to Brer Coon, looked at and saw the frogs all swimming around, having a good old time. Brer Rabbit commenced to crying. Woo! 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 Finally, the frogs got curious and crawled up on the bank. The bullfrog stood by Brer Coon and hollered up at Brer Rabbit. What's the matter with you? 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 Brer Rabbit said, this is my friend Brer Coon. He done fell down dead here. He's dead, deader than dead. He's dead as a doorknob, so dead. He's dead as the deadest thing you ever seen dead in your whole dead life. And the bullfrog said, that's good. 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 Brer Rabbit said, I promised if he should die before me, I'd bury him in the place he loved the best. And he loved this river. I'm going to dig him a grave right on this riverbank right here and bury him right here. And the bullfrog said, let us do it. Let us dig it. Let us dig it. And the little frog said, let us dig it. Let us dig it. Let us dig it. Brer Rabbit said, well, that's mighty fine of you. Seeing I'm so torn up with grief and all, I'm going to let y'all dig the grave. Yep, I surely do think I'll let y'all dig the grave. I'll tell you how deep to dig it. The frogs gathered around Brer Coon, got out their little frog shovels and commenced to digging. They was digging dirt from under Brer Coon. They was digging dirt every which way. Little frogs, big frogs, old frogs, young frogs. That dirt was flying and I ain't lying. Old Brer Coon was kind of laying there waiting. Soon the grave was 10 feet deep. The bullfrog leaped up on Brer Coon's belly and hollered out, is it deep enough? 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 Said the little frog. Well, Brer Rabbit said, can you jump? Can y'all jump out? The bullfrog looked around to see. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And the little frog said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Well, then it ain't deep enough, is it? Dig it deeper. The bullfrog and the other frogs commenced to digging again. The dirt was really coming up, but they were getting tired. Some could hardly lift dirt up, and some were just laying on old Brer Coon. Old Brer Coon was just laying there waiting. He just awaiting. Oh, those frogs were tired. Some had fallen over Brer Coon's belly. Some had laid on his face. They just couldn't dig no longer. The bullfrog climbed up on Brer Coon's chest and hollered out, is it deep enough? Is it deep enough? Is it deep enough? Brer Rabbit said, well, can y'all jump out? The bullfrogs looked up to see. Believe we can. Believe we can. Believe we can. The little frog said, believe we can. Believe we can. Believe we can. Believe we can. Br'er Rabbit said, well, it ain't deep enough yet. You got to dig it deeper. So they just couldn't go no further. The grave was 12 feet deep, and they couldn't dig another inch. Frogs were all laid out in the bottom of the grave, laid all over Br'er Coon. The bullfrog crawled up on Br'er Coon's chin and hollered out of the grave, is it deep enough? 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 Said the little frog. Br'er Rabbit said, well, can y'all jump out? The bullfrog looked around and he said, no, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. And the little frog said, no, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. Br'er Rabbit said, get up, Br'er Coon, and grab your groceries. They's too tired to jump out of that hole. We done wore them out. And Br'er Coon leaped up, grabbed that sack, filled it full of frogs, and took them home. His wife was very happy. They had enough frogs to do them this year and next year to boot. Ha! And that's the end of that. And that is, for sure, one of Jackie Torrance's favorite stories. But I like to read it too because it's also one of my daughter's favorite stories. So I hope y'all like it. We'll be telling more stories through the week. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out. Because we're going to be having a lot more on the YouTube channel. You can find us on the regular on Kofi Kemet, or you can find us on Black Facts Jr. All you chilling, y'all should go to Black Facts Jr. All right, appreciate it. Meanwhile, peace out. Without a doubt, Tutao Nana.